Okay, this is Mike Regensberger. This is a Kutztown University Radio KUR produced podcast. We're in the studio right now with Department of Cinema, Television, and Media Production Professor Jennifer Suwak. She, in addition to being a professor, is a filmmaker. She's been here at Kutztown University for about 4 years. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hi, thank you, Mike.
Pleasure to have you here.
Thanks.
Okay. The main reason that we wanted to have you here in the studio was to tell us about a fantastic recent experience you had getting to present at a conference in India. Tell us a little bit of the background of how this all came about and build up from there.
Okay, sure. So it was a really great experience. And what happened actually was there's an initiative with Penn Hub, of which Kutztown is a part. And so in an effort to make sort of a continued relationship or building a relationship with the University of Mumbai and associated colleges, there was a need to have someone go from Kutztown to talk about that relationship, sort of foster that, and also present at a conference. So the conference was an international conference on media integrity.
Okay, so when did you go to India? When was the trip?
The conference was February 14th through 16th of this year.
And you were telling me a little bit off air of how it was kind of impromptu. You didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare, but you're a travel fiend and you just wanted to get out there and go, right?
Absolutely. So I've been to India before, and I think it's just fascinating. I love the culture and the food, and just I thought it would be an awesome opportunity to be able to go there, meet students and faculty, and present. As a documentary filmmaker, I think that like a conference on media integrity is something that's really timely and important. And so when I saw the program, I thought there was something that I could definitely contribute. So I jumped on it.
So you got to present there on a topic. I love the name media integrity. What exactly, for listeners that don't know, is media integrity?
I mean, so it's multifaceted, the idea of media integrity. It's basically like being able to vet your sources when you're creating pieces, like news pieces, documentary pieces. And I think it's also sort of the idea of creating something that's meaningful and has more of a substance. It's not simply attention grabbing or sort of mindless. So there was a lot of kind of branches that this took.
And I could imagine that in this day and age, especially with splashy headlines and all the political climate and stuff that we're in, this topic is probably something more appropriate than ever.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the students were so engaged, and they had notes that they were referring to ask us questions. It was really great. I mean, they really had a lot to say. So that was exciting. Having them involved. A lot of conferences that I've been to, there's no student involvement.
Right.
So the students were present for each part of this conference, which was exciting to hear their voices, as well as faculty and field experts in the fields,
How did you become so educated in the topic of media integrity? What makes what have you done over the years to build upon this?
So I'm a documentary filmmaker.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So something that I was working on recently was a film about my mom who had Alzheimer's, and she passed from it. But I really thought deeply about how I was representing her, since she essentially she didn't have a voice, and representing her in a way that was meaningful in terms of, producing a film, but also not, in any way misrepresenting her or exploiting her. I think very deeply about that. And when I watch films, of course I watch like a ton of films, especially docs, because that's my thing. I think a lot about representation and how it's important to sort of not just to just think more deeply about what you're doing and how you're portraying your subjects. I think it's really important.
So talk a little bit about, so you talked a little bit about the opportunity to go to India and the topics that you spoke of. Obviously, there was another wonderful side benefit of all this was representing Kutztown University in India. Tell us a little bit about that side of things.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I mean, the students were really intrigued with our program here, and so I talked a lot about that. And our resources, which we have some amazing resources here. We have great connections. We have a really nice studio and some good equipment. Yeah, it's interesting because they don't have the resources that we have, even close. They have heart and they have stories to tell, but they're intrigued with the ability to sort of, have more, better equipment or resources. And, there's also sort of a fascination with Hollywood and American cinema, as well as Bollywood. But so, they really were interested in Kutztown. So they had done research about Kutztown. Students had done research about me. They looked up my films that on IMDb and watched some of them. So they were really they were so engaged. They were so interested in kind of hearing what I had to say, what everyone had to say on the panel. But they had some amazing questions about Kutztown and about what I do. And so it was great.
And you said you might have been one of the very few Americans that were actually at this conference. I'm sure that was an interesting experience, too.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
And it's funny because for sure I was the only American on this one panel that was about politics in the media. And I didn't know that I was going to be on that panel. I had my abstract prepared, my presentation prepared, and I knew that there was a few boards that I was going to sit on. But that one took me by surprise. So I went on the stage, and behind me was the graphic that said, politics in the media in your country. So we started out on the panel, a Canadian professor. And so you're supposed to address the politics of your specific country and how it's revealed in the media. And the professor from Canada is like, well, basically, President Trump's tweets guide our news every day. And I'm like, all right, well, the wind's out of my sails. And I still had, there were 3 people to go in line before I had to speak. So
right.
The Australian professor spoke about politics in America. There was someone from India that spoke about politics from America. And then it came to me, and I'm like, wow, well, where do you want me to start?
Right.
So, that was kind of interesting. And I felt kind of over a little bit of pressure, I guess.
Right.
Because where do I even begin? There's just so much to talk about. So it was interesting to kind of see how other people also perceive us and the media coming out of Washington, D.C. and stuff.
So any parting lifelong memories you have of this conference, and what you hope that it stepping ground for future opportunities like this? Any comments on that?
I think it's important to foster these types of relationships so that we kind of can learn from each other. I mean, they have very interesting culture viewpoints. The students are very different from the students here. I think together there could be a lot of inspiration and growth.
Right.
And so I think that's amazing. I love to explore other cultures and sort of see how other people view the world.
Sure.
I mean, again, it's such a different world over there. I mean, it is a democracy, but they operate so differently. I mean, yet the same. It's weird, but I just love that experience of exchanging cultures and sort of learning from each other. I met with a president of a small. It's like I guess they would be called a college in Pune, who came down to see me in Mumbai, and we discussed this idea of having our students work together. So, I have a documentary class next semester, and so we would kind of exchange films. So their documentary students, they would send me films and vice versa, and then we could have discussion, maybe kind of certainly online, but even try to find a time that would work. I mean, there's a big time difference. But
that's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, so I was really excited about that. And I told some students here about it, and they seemed really excited and thought it was a great idea. I think their subject matter is really, really heavy, a lot of it, because of some turmoil going on there.
Sure.
But I think both our students and those students would really benefit from that kind of relationship.
Well, Professor Jennifer Suwak, professor of CTM here at Kutztown University and filmmaker, I want to thank you so much for sharing this story about your life-changing experience, and hopefully you can get back to India or wherever and share the word of media integrity all around the world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for being here.